I'm blessed to be able to welcome on the number 22 overall player in the class of 2021. The 4-star small forward also found himself ranked in as the number 6 overall player at his position, and is the number 2 overall player in Arizona in his respected class. The Hillcrest star also is one of the star and leaders of Drive Nation and the AAU. He's already got offers from like USC, Texas, TCU, Virginia Tech, Texas A&M, Georgia, Maryland, DePaul, along with many others. And his name is Keon Edwards. How you doing today, my guy?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. So, let's just jump right into this, man. So, obviously, you guys didn't start off the way I'm sure you guys imagined. Obviously, rough starts there, but you guys were able to go add a guy like Schumaker. You guys added a new coaching staff, got rid of the old one, and now you guys are back up at number 14, winning 2 championships in a row now. Talk about what the adjustment period has been like and getting back to really where the expectations were prior to the season.
It just we had to change the culture. We all didn't like the way we started, came together as a group and just decided to fix everything. Started practicing harder, started playing harder, and it just kind of showed. And in addition, McCurry really helped because he came in, contributed right away. He didn't really ruffle, he didn't mess up the chemistry. He just kind of fit right in.
And that's huge, but I think you look at it, obviously going back to looking at something like Hoop Hall, you guys obviously show that you guys have so much potential. Just a matter of when and if it clicks and all. And obviously, you guys have the sky's the limit. I mean, look at Dalen, one of the best point forwards in the country. Obviously, you and Puff, we know what you guys can do. Mike Foster's one of the most dominant players. Obviously, what Sada can do, most versatile players. Tez comes off the bench. But you guys were stacked. It's just a matter of if and or when that clicks. And obviously, you guys had the potential to be something very special and still do.
Sure.
And we obviously see Hillcrest is pretty much a brand new team as opposed to last year's roster. I mean, Dalen's still here. I mean, Dre and Kyrie technically could have been here. Obviously, they have their own scenarios, but all you guys come on and are all from all over the country, just in different places. Talk about how you guys decided to come together, how this panned out, how did this work and come together from all you guys coming from all over the country to form this elite team?
We all just came in with the same mindset, trying to win a national championship, and once they kept coming to us and asking us about each other, and we all thought the same thing. And just we love to play with each other because it'd be a stronger team. And it's just the first few games that we played against competition and lost, that was just growing pains. That was just us figuring out how to play with each other and stuff because we all came in a little late, so we didn't know how to quite play with each other yet now. And now it's kind of working and clicking, working as a little unit.
Without a doubt, obviously that's been evident. You guys winning 2 of the past championships you guys have been in. But now talk about the new move. Obviously, Sada's now returned back to Compass, and that obviously leaves a new hole up at the guard just forward spot, and that's obviously where your role is. So for you, is there anything that you see maybe your role expanding to any degree, or really what's going to happen for you?
Starting out, I'm going to be the same guy I've been. Just an energy guy on defense. Look to shut my guy down and help out whoever else on the team and knock down shots and make big-time plays. It's just come in and contribute in whatever way I can.
Absolutely, man. That's the key part. I know you and I both talked about that quite a few times. That's about your role. I mean, you just want to play your role, and that's what obviously I think that's part of the reason why obviously your rankings or your media attention might not be as high as others because that's just not as glorified. But at the end of the day, the 3&D kind of player is so critical in today's game, and obviously he's highly valued. We hear about that all the time in the NBA and college and whatnot. But talk about for you, where do you see that panning out for yourself in terms of your role and you're accepting that roles?
I think my game is the type of game that, like you said, I think it translates down the line. I think as my career continues, I can find a spot on whatever team I'm playing on because I have the type of game that most coaches there's always a spot for a type of guy like me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I talked to you about before, I mean, we know that what you can do in his play. I mean, we saw that John Wall, you showed, and obviously got a highlight play, one of the best last year. I mean, you can do that stuff, but we know down the line what you bring to the table, and it might not be a high-ranking player in terms of what ESPN wants to see you right now. It might not be a high mock draft eventually in a year or two, but eventually we know once you're in the NBA, 3&D players, guys that can lock up a man, hit the three, and score on their own are some of the best players in the game, and those guys are some of the most well-known guys. So having that aspect is a huge thing.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And so going back to talking about this season now, I mean, talk about how you've kind of bonded some of the guys that you're really close to on the team.
Real close to Dalen, Puff, Mike, all core guys. Just starting to know McCurry, but he's real cool. We're right now we're just starting to really build the actual friendship to where we can all just call each other whenever, or we can just chill together when we're on the road. At first it was kind of more of a cliquish thing because we didn't really know each other yet, but now we're starting to get comfortable with each other and we can just hoop and have good times. And that kind of correlates to how we've been playing too, because we becoming more as a unit off the court, and then we're playing like it.
That's why in the beginning of the year, once again, I mean, we could see that it was a lot different team from the beginning to now, and that's one thing just getting that chemistry, because some of those teams you guys played have been together for a couple of years, like Prolific, and just having that chemistry start to click. And from guys, like I said earlier, all you guys came from all over the country. So having us all come together now and start to click is a huge thing. That's obviously evident on the court.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so kind of talk about your high school career so far. Obviously coming from Findlay Prep. Talk about what that was like playing there last year and then obviously having the transition over to Hillcrest.
Findlay Prep was a big jump for me because that was my first prep basketball experience, because I was coming from my regular public high school hometown, and I feel like I learned a lot from that experience. Grew up a lot because I was by myself, didn't have my parents. I really think at Findlay I developed a love for the game because I was by myself, and everything was kind of just on me. So I had to decide how hard I wanted to work or how many shots I wanted to get up a day. And that's just kind of what I think helped me develop even deeper respect and love for the game.
I mean, obviously, being on your own, being in a place where it's almost like the field of college and at a younger age, obviously, and learning how to adapt without family necessarily right there with you and just play the game of basketball and worry about school is just a huge thing that prepares you for now and obviously the future as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And so now, obviously, when you decided in Findlay Prep, obviously you didn't have a basketball program anymore. What were some of the schools you're looking at? Was there any other schools other than Hillcrest, or was it just Hillcrest?
I was looking around Texas for some schools, and then Hillcrest called. I really didn't know where I was going to go at that time either. I was still kind of just trying to figure it out. And then when I went on the tour, I liked everything. I liked the coaching staff. It just got a good vibe from the whole program. And then I met Dalen, and we got closer because right after I committed, we were both at USA, and we were roommates actually. So that just kind of helped me make my decision easy.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, let's jump into that now. I mean, being able to wear that Team USA jersey stuff and all that, it's really a huge honor. I mean, that's something that not many people get to do. Talk about what that was like. Obviously, having you guys have Mike go out there as well. I mean, talk about what it was like forming that kind of stuff, be a part of Team USA.
I think it's just a great experience as a whole, and it really motivates you just seeing all those dudes from around the country that are talented and have same frame as you. It just makes you want to work even harder because it shows you that you're so different. Everything is different. You there's someone that's similar to you, and you have to outwork them.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. And like you just said, though, I mean, you know that's all the top players in the country that's at that camp. And so seeing the guys not only in your class, you kind of see who you're going up against, but you see the guys that are seniors, obviously, the guys that are 2020, see how they're panning out as they're getting ready to have the final year in high school, getting ready for college, and just getting that experience is an awesome thing.
One thing I took away from the older guys is my group, I don't think we were far off on the talent aspect, but the older guys seemed to have the leadership aspect of the game down a little bit better than we did, because they you could tell they had been there before you. They were talking loud. They communicated a little better as a team, and that's things you can just take into your school situation, not try to use every day. Just a big learning experience going to USA.
Mm-hmm. So when you go back, I mean, what's some of the guys that you like in the state, or maybe across the country, maybe some of your closest friends that you really enjoyed creating bonds and connections with?
One of the guys, my last roomie from USA, Jalen Blakes, he was a real cool dude. That's my boy. We still stay in touch, talk all the time. My cousin from Texas, Colbert, that's my brother. We've been close. Then there's a lot of other dudes that I consider my friends. Can't think of them all off the top of my head right now, but those bonds really help later on, because when the college thing starts to get closer and closer, you kind of can figure out who you want to play with.
Absolutely. I think you just nailed that too. I mean, basketball is a sport where there's so many connections you create all the time. I mean, rather be through camps, be through different teams, AAU, high school teams, and just building those connections are huge, because like you said, when it comes time, I mean, everyone knows you want to play with your friends eventually. I mean, that's a dream for everyone to want to do and play with that connection. So having that in college, and also then for you guys, you want to go play in the NBA eventually. I mean, that's going to be a huge thing as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little more about the Texas basketball. I mean, obviously, coming from there, I mean, talk about the guys in Texas. I mean, that's one of the most prestigious basketball states in the country. I mean, talk about the guys that come out of there. What it's like growing up out there.
Growing up in Texas, specifically Houston, I think one thing you pick up more from that side is just that dog mentality. Like you gotta really have some grit about yourself to be successful over there, because the type of style that's popular in Houston is the press full court all game, just play real hard and aggressive. And to thrive in a game like that, you have to be strong with the ball, and you got to have some toughness. And then, yeah, some of the guys from out there, like some of the guys from Texas in general, like I've been close with for a long time, and some I met recently, like at USA, and got to know better, like Harrison Ingram and KJ. Just starting to really get to know those guys, but yeah, they're real good players.
Absolutely. That's something you see a lot. Some guys obviously you've been a well-known player since you came into high school, but some guys obviously take longer to go into the realm, a lot like KJ, a lot like Harrison as well. I mean, just seeing all the guys, and eventually, once again, heading to the NBA stuff, you're going to see so many players from Texas, and having that bond, having that relationship, having that pride coming from there is an awesome thing.
Yeah. In Texas, we kind of like to stick together as a unit, because I kind of have that bond when we're like in different places. It's funny too, because when you're in state, it's kind of like a Houston-Dallas rivalry, but when you leave state, that rivalry kind of goes away.
No doubt. And so now heading into your AAU season, obviously after this season, what's that looking like? Is there anyone that you also want to team up with maybe there as a team you're kind of locked into for now?
AAU team, I'm still recruiting. Like, I got a lot of guys in mind, but I'm still recruiting for my AAU team. I'm going to be running with Drive Nation this summer still. Finished with them last summer. And, yeah, I'm still recruiting for my AAU team, so I'm not quite sure who's going to be on the team yet, or we might bring up some younger guys, not quite sure. So,
Gotcha. And so kind of talk about going back to some of the stuff. I mean, the bonds that Team USA you build, but I think one thing that's a key thing a lot of people learn is that when you look at the guys that end up getting drafted high in the NBA and the guys that pan out in the NBA, oftentimes have to meet a lot of the guys involved in the Team USA program, because people know that it's not just they don't just go by who's the top 20 players in the country and bring them over. It's a lot of character they look at. They look at your grades. They look at a lot of all-around stuff. So talk about what it's like knowing that not only you're a top player, but also you have the high character that comes along with it.
It's a pretty good feeling. I mean, knowing that, because I know like everybody knows the stories of guys that are super talented and then like had all the talent in the world and then just didn't make it for whatever reason. And then you just kind of use those stories as examples of how to stay on the right path and stuff like that.
No doubt. So was that first established by someone in your family, or was that kind of given to you to want to have that high energy, have that kind of motor, and have that high that want to be a good high character player?
I think that started when before I was even born, because I was born into a family of basketball. Both my parents are coaches. My brother was a basketball player, played Division II, but yeah, I was born into basketball. So my parents have always taught me how to play the right way. Always made me play high energy and keep character through that, or what. Always taught me about sportsmanship and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just my surroundings.
That's awesome. I mean, having God-given people that come and help you kind of guide your path, having people that give you an example of how to live and get to the point you want is an awesome thing.
For sure.
And so kind of talking about your recruitment process, obviously you've continued to pile up many, many offers, but talk about what it's been like seeing all these offers come in and what's some of the offers you really, really enjoy and you really like.
It's definitely a blessing seeing all these, like having all these offers from the different programs around the country. And yeah, I'm just kind of starting to figure out, like, just kind of see what schools I'm interested in, because I haven't really went on any official visits yet. So kind of just trying to figure out which schools are the most interested in me, because at the end of the day, I'm not really as much concerned about the name on the jersey. I'm more concerned about the fit for me and if it's helping me get better as a basketball player and as a person.
That's a huge thing right there. 'Cause I think so many players unfortunately get carried up away was saying, I want the Duke name, I want the Kansas, I want the UCLA, Kentucky. The list goes on that way. But I think a lot of times that can be the right path for people. But a lot of times we see situations that players get themselves into that doesn't allow them to become the best players. And then we see other examples of guys like John Moran. I think is a prime example where you go to a school that's not really even known. No one really knew where Murray State was prior to him, and he turns into being one of the best young players out there in the NBA right now. And it's just truly finding the right spot's a huge thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. Because, finding a spot that's going to develop you, make sure that you reach your full potential with hard work. And that's what I'm looking for in a school. School is going to help me reach my full potential. Absolutely.
Obviously, we know with you, your goal will be ultimate to be in the NBA someday. Talk about what do you need to improve on to help get you to that point you want to reach?
I think the first and most important thing for me would probably be working on my body, making sure I'm getting stronger, more athletic, because at the next level, you see all those guys have professional frames, and playing 82 games in a season is a lot of wear and tear on your body. So if your body isn't built for the task, then you're going to come up with a lot of injuries, and then that's when you start to be in and out of the league. So the first and most important thing for me is probably my body and developing my game, of course. Getting in the lab, working on my skills and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Is there any player that you maybe remind yourself of, or a player that you really try to model your game after?
The player I try to model my game after, I would probably say Paul George, because I see the way how effective he is on offense, and not just offense, how he is also known around the league as a lockdown defender, and I kind of admire that.
I 100% agree on that one. That's what I've always looked at. I mean, obviously, it's hard to always project high school guys, especially become NBA players, like superstars like that. But I think when it comes to like I said before, you're a 3&D player that has more than just the three. I mean, you can obviously attack and go score at will too. I mean, having that aspect to your game can put you right out there being amongst the best players in the NBA eventually.
No doubt.
And before I let you go, wrapping up a couple of different questions. The first one being, who in your life would you say has been your biggest role model?
Biggest role model? I think the biggest role model has been my older brother. Because he made basketball cool for me. When I was younger, I could have did a lot of different things. Because, when I was younger, I could have did a lot of different things. Who knows? But he made basketball cool. I looked up to him. I always thought, dang, I want to be like him someday. And then he made me want to play basketball. And he always encouraged me. And, I remember when I was 6 years old, he used to always tell his friends, oh, yeah, my little brother's going to be better than me. And, stuff like that, him believing in me and my parents believing in me, stuff like that, that's, my biggest encouragement. Yeah, he's also my biggest role model, too.
That's awesome. I mean, having that supporting cast, especially, I don't think there's any bond that can be stronger than a brother's bond. And having that connection, relationships, an awesome thing that God obviously gave you.
Yeah, for sure. We're really close. Yeah, we talk almost every day.
Mm-hmm. My final question is, how would you say God's helped get you to the point you're at today?
I mean, God has blessed me in many different ways. I mean, from the physical standpoint of things, just me being healthy and 6'8" and having a lot of athletic ability, he's blessed me in that way. But not just that way. He's blessed me also by putting people around me that can support me and help me grow. And then, I've just been put in a lot of fortunate situations where I've been able to learn and grow.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. And obviously having that blessing is huge. And obviously he's always there to keep you there and keep you on your path, which is an awesome thing as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Whatever, appreciate you taking time to come on today, my guy. Obviously, best luck from here on out. I'm excited to see what you get done.
For sure. Appreciate you having me.
No problem, bro. God bless.
God bless.